There are so many ways in which you can invest in real estate in South Africa. Actually, maybe about 8 people, they asked the question to say, TJ, should I invest in residential or commercial properties in South Africa? I've got a bit of cash on me. Ooh, that's a very good question. I then decided, when I was starting to invest in real estate, did I even think, should I be investing in residential or should I invest in commercial? What is residential? You buy and then you let. So the letting is the rental piece part of it, right? Commercial properties, is it also buy to let? Yes, it is. It's a different type of a property. This could be industrial. This could be maybe offices. This could be maybe student accommodation. It varies, right? So commercial, what does that mean? Commercial means that there is a business activity on the property. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is TJ, your host, and I'm a former banker and founder here at the TJ Tribe. And I do business with a focus in student accommodation, flips, which is buy and sell, and coaching, with the hope that all of us, as young upcoming modern parents, we can be able to have passive income from real estate. Welcome to the channel. So this question is asking me this question because I am positive that they have seen the return on investments on the other side. Which other side? Well, let's find out. If you had to go and invest in residential alone, why would you want to do that? We all know in our market in South Africa, there is a huge demand of residential properties, which is why you're always seeing lots of complexes coming up, lots of developments coming up. The government embarking on residential houses being built, many lands that is being built, and there's lots of land that's being turned into residential. If you are in the Gauteng areas, you look in the Randfontein areas, all of that whole area, there's now low coastal housings. It used to be just open land. You can have a look in your own neighborhood. So you can see that there is great demand. People are moving away more and more away from the rural setup, coming into the urbanization. And we're also having an influx of our fellow brothers and sisters coming from Africa, coming from Europe, also coming in to stay in our beloved country, South Africa. And they need accommodation somewhere. So that's residential, my good friends. Now, you might be asking yourself the question, why should we be investing in residential? TJ, do you still invest in residential? Yes, I do. A smaller chunk of my portfolio is in residential. These are my reasons why I invest in those areas. So basically, the first one is that in the areas of residential investing, there's a steady demand. So rental demand is usually strong in the residential space compared to, and especially it also have a higher growth because of the urbanization which is happening. So there's more people coming into the urban. So for that reason, it is great. But does it mean that all the areas are like that? Not necessarily. Not all areas are like that. And then the second one, which is more importantly for me, is that residential is got what we call a low entry cost. So low entry cost basically means that if I'm employed today, and this channel is dedicated for people that have an income and they are looking for an alternative income, right? So if you've got no income, here on this channel, we can't really help you that much. But we want you to be here so that you can learn how to have an income. And I'm always saying, if you don't have an income here on this channel, please go and become an estate agent in your area. Tip of the day for the unemployed. But if you are here, we are dedicating this channel to people that have an income meaning that you've got a job or you've got a business, and now you're looking for alternative income elsewhere, right? And real estate is what we provide here as the alternative income. So let me speak to the low entry cost. Low entry cost basically means that if you've got a job or you have a business that you're running, now generally when you're buying residential properties, the bank is going to say, because not many of us have millions sitting at home, right? But I'll come back to this guy that says he's got a bit of cash. Not many of us have cash at home. So how can you work around that? Well, the bank can give you up to 105%, which means that I've seen that the bank's giving you up to 105%. So which means that they can give you that whole money. So that's a low entry cost, right? So now you own a property and you've just paid how much? Maybe just transfer fees. So there you go. Isn't that great? It is great. Right. So that's the first thing. Liquidity is another one. There tends to be a larger pool of buyers and sellers, tenants, that can also offer a great liquidity, which basically means that because you've got this pool of people that are wanting to buy and sell, in the residential space, asset tends to move faster or quicker, if I may call it that. And obviously, because you are renting the properties out to individuals, you can create what we call steady income. So the residential rentals, in my view, they provide a consistent income, sometimes in a very modest manner for cash flow reasons. So does it make sense? Yeah, I've just given you my reasons why part of my portfolio is in residential. And I want to jump on to the conversation of why would you want also to invest in commercial? Because the bigger chunk of my portfolio is in the commercial space. And we are answering this question here, the person who says, TJ, where should I invest, right? So in commercial properties, because you are renting out for commercial reasons, it tends to have a higher yield. Comparison of the two. Commercial, it's got a higher yield. Higher yield means that, if we were to look at commercial properties, they can offer a higher return on the investment because of obviously the long-term lease that you can get into terms and conditions, which might also result in a more attractive yield. So as an example, I might go into a contract with a university for my student accommodation. It's commercial, and I don't stay on that property. It's not residential. And I have one contract with one university, but I got 50 students. Or I've got 100 students, right? And for that reason, it can also become a higher yield. I've got one property which has maybe 4 sectionalized warehouses, and I get one contract from Take a Lot, or the other company from the States, what is it called? Amazon. I can have that one, and bingo, they take care of everything on my property. That's commercial. For the next 10 years, they've got a rental income on me. That's easy peasy. That's commercial. Does it make sense? Right. And by the way, don't forget, this is the month of March. We are still running our competition. There's a few books on stake to be won. And all you need to do is to type in the comment March and then something else in front of it. And you can say, March, I've learned a lot today, TJ. Or you can say, March, whatever that you want to say. And within that, we will have a competition in the first. We'll draw the results in the first week of April, and we will then mention. We'll have a special video where we mention the winners. But above that, obviously, you need to be here for you to know that you have won. It's the only way we can let you know, and then we'll give you some instructions on what to do. So that we can send these books to you. Unfortunately, we can only send these books into South Africa. The cost of just sending across the borders is just so expensive. We sent some books, some material recently to someone who is in Australia, and that cost was just below 2,000 Rand, 1.8 it was. So you can see, it's not really, it is worth it, obviously, but from a winning perspective, if you want something, it becomes very costly for us to send it out to you. So we can only send to South Africa. However, if you are out there and you are looking for these resources, let us know. We will send us an email, and our email address is hello@thetjtribe.com. You can send us an email to say, hey, I am in Australia, New Zealand, I'm looking for these resources, guys, send it to me. We will send you a separate quotation. So we'll give you the price. We'll almost give the books for you for free, and just you can pay for the courier to wherever you are. Risk and market sensitivity. So risk and market sensitivity, around commercial properties, right? It's also around the economy of the country. As things are going well, business is going well, and things are not going well, business is going down. So obviously, commercial follow what we call the economic cycles that might be volatile in our market, like any other market in the world. So for that reason, we need to be more geared around that. But hey, there is great diversification that can come out of that. Imagine if you've got a house and you turn it around and it becomes a small clinic, and you can house doctors, a number of doctors there, or doctors for the eyes, what are they called again? ENTs and all of those other radiographers, what, and they can all be on one block, of that house. And my friends, that could be commercial, and you can have those tenants for the rest of your life. Imagine that. So diversification there, you got a block, but it's multiple doctors, right? Or it's multiple tenants, serving the greater cause with a great impact in the community. Managing complexity. So in the commercial space, there could be, it's not a one size fit all, right? Imagine if you've got a bank that's coming in to rent your property. And they have their own requirements. So we've got a couple of properties that we have where we have the bank, their ATMs are on our properties, and basically they pay us to be on our property, but they've got specific requirements of what time we need to be trading in based on their complaints that they are getting. They've got special requirements of the entry of the properties and so on. So for all of these things, my good friends, this could be a complexity in terms of management. So the answer that we are asking for, the answer that we are trying to answer for is here, is should I invest in residential or commercial property in South Africa? That's what we're trying to answer. This person says they got a bit of cash. So the great answer after I've given you all of these things is context to your decision making. We can't just answer a question, hey, are you in love with Jenna? Yes. Why? Because there's context. She loves me back. She looks after me. She has given me kids. I do amazing things for her, and she does amazing things. So the context of that plays a big role into my decision of yes or no. So is there an answer, a quick answer, residential or commercial? No, there isn't, right? Because all of these things that we have just given needs to be considered. So ultimately, the right choice really depends on the financial goals. Does it make sense if I say it that way? If you're in property investment, at some point or the other, you have had to evict someone. And I know, my friends, it is a painful exercise. But I'm here to tell you that for the last couple of years, I've been using a company that is called Expello. Expello, basically what they do is that you pay them a monthly fee, and over and above that, whenever you get a delinquent tenant, they will come and evict that individual free of charge, because obviously you've been paying, right? And over and above that, you don't have to do anything. But guess what? I have managed to organize a good price for you. And the link here that you're seeing, which is called expello.link./TJ Tribe, gets you a great discount from Expello. So my friends, don't be caught with your pants down on your tenant. Just Expello them with Expello. It is TJ. Let's go back to the video. Right? The right choice, right? It ultimately depends on the financial goals. So where are you wanting to go on your financials goal? How much risk are you willing to take, right? Because, hey, there's multiple ways of doing this. And obviously, this one here, which is my number one, your familiarity in the local market, that's number one, and then the type of real estate that you're going to go for, whether it's residential or commercial, right? Or maybe it's a hybrid. I love hybrid mixed use. We call that mixed use. So if you're looking for if you're looking for a stability, easier management, residential might be the right way for you to go. However, if you're also comfortable and you've got a team around you and you are willing to take a bit of more risk for the potential of a higher returns. Now you can see there I'm saying commercial, it's got a bigger returns, or should I say more returns than the residential. It's a fact, right? You can look around all of your deals that you may be vetting and so on. You could see which ones are more lucrative. So you could obviously then go the commercial route, but you need to understand it. Like for instance, I spent almost about a year and a half understanding student accommodation before I went into student accommodation. Like I did that. I went to Bloom, right? Some of you might not know this. I went to Bloemfontein before we started doing student accommodation, me and my partner. And there's a guy that I knew who was doing student accommodation. This is commercial, right? We did define that student accommodation is commercial. And when I was there was a guy who was also doing student accommodation. He was way ahead of me. He was about 10 years older than me in real estate, not in age, right? And I met up with him. His name is Dana Bonsai. And I got to spend time with Dana Bonsai. He was explaining how things are working, how he's doing his business, and respect to Dana Bonsai at the time. And he became a good friend over the years, and I've bounced ideas with him over the years. He's a big brother to me in terms of real estate for student accommodation, and I started doing it, right? I went, I saw, I spent some time, I came back, and I went to see many other student accommodation on how they were doing it. Between me and my partner, we then started crafting what we call our model, right? Because we identified then we created our own model. In our first year of doing this, we made some good bucks, and we went big with it after we understood it. When we went big with it, we then started understanding that, you can tighten up the screws here, you can put in a bit of seasoning here, and obviously our je ne sais quoi for student accommodation has progressed over the years. More importantly, the market playing a leading role in how we are changing things in our business. So I would say that because I spent time in learning, and I'm continuously learning, commercial for student accommodation for me is great. So if I were to choose between residential today, if I was that guy and asking that question, if I were him and I've got the money, a bit of cash today, I am going to definitely put it in commercial. Because he said he's got a chunk of money, right? That's what he said. I'm going to put maybe about 60% in student accommodation, and 40% I'll put it in some residential. On the residential side, I'll just kind of like buy it cash and maybe do some refinancing with the bank and just utilize it like that slowly, a slow growth. But I'll put a big chunk of the money. But we don't know how much money this is, right? It might be $1 million, it might be 100,000. But if it's 100,000, then you can't even do anything with that. But hey, I hope that we've answered this question. It is your boy TJ. If you got any questions, let us know.